Good evening again, everybody. This is Elizabeth Diamonds for the Diamonds Network with Tuesday's show, December 8th, 2015, The Voices from the Alternative World. And Sonny and Dale have a great show for tonight. We have an awesome guest. A few announcements before we start. I announced this yesterday on the Diamonds Forever 3113 show. We're going to have a special call. As you know, the Diamonds Network is doing some unique, unusual things, some things people haven't even done yet. So we are a pioneering network, Diamonds Network is. Well, first of all, we have Cynthia, who does the astrology, where we learn about our supernatural, natural self and learn tools to increase our vibration, increase our consciousness. And not only that, but with the law of one, I call it the law, somebody needs to mute out, star 6, please. I call it the Trumper law. And the law of one trumps all laws, judicial, civil, and it's a universal law. It's a prayer, but it's more than a prayer. It's a DNA changer. It's a changer to the highest good of all concerned. Okay, star 6, please. I hear some noise. Okay, so the law of one, that's unique in itself. And not very many people know about that, but we're making it known to the world. Wake up, world! And here's a tool for you, and it's really awesome. And we'll say that tonight. Also, there's Christopher Stephen Jacobs, who brings in our ET brothers and sisters, and we galactowise. I don't know anybody doing galactowizing. What galactowizing means is just relationshiping, starting a relationship with our ET brothers and sisters, which are really other aspects of ourselves. They're just other living beings, people, living in other dimensions on this earth, other dimensions and time spaces and other planets in this universe and beyond. And we are limitless, you guys. So this is a very awesome pioneering network. So be sure to pass it on and be a benefactor. Share the shows, and we love all our guests. They add to it. You guys are part of it, too, listening. You're benefactors. Please share. Please donate your energy back in kind. The donate button is on the blog. That's diamonds with an S, forever, 31.blogspot.com. The links to the YouTube channels are there, and Chris and Cynthia's links there. And also, here's the special thing we're going to have. You can have a chance to be a special benefactor. Not only that, but participate in history making. Remember, I said we're a pioneering network, Diamonds Network. And what me and Chris are going to do, we're going to schedule it within this next 30 days. If you guys want to attend and be a part of history, we're going to do our second test run. We're knocking at the door. Me and Chris did a call. My dream, my vision was to one of the biggest pillars in this awakening, this golden age, is building relationship and meeting our ET brothers and sisters face to face. I mean, hugging and co-creating with them here on Earth and the other planets. That is happening, that will happen, and it will happen even more. So we're taking a baby step. My vision is for not to have a goal between and have our ET brothers and sisters talk with their own voices on the Diamonds Network. Yes, it will happen. We're going to keep knocking. We're going to keep seeking. We're going to keep asking. I know for a fact that there's some being ET races out there that have technology. Somebody needs to star 6, please. I hear phones rattling. We have technology. They have technology to come in on their voices. So it's a pioneering thing, and it will happen. So if you want to be a part of that, give me a call, and I'll give you the details. It'll be a small fee to be a special benefactor if you want to be part of history. Last time. Chris is going to upload the last call to YouTube soon. My electricity went out, a 5-block radius around me towards the end of that call. It was phenomenal, and you'll hear on the YouTube what happened and why. But just give me a call if you want to be a part of that, and I'll give you the details of when we will have that. So that my number is 763-670-9120. That's 763-670-9120. You can call me, you can text me, or you can email me. ediamond1313bam. E as in ball, A as in apple, M as in mother at AOL.com. That's ediamond1313bam at AOL.com. Please be a benefactor and attend this special history-making one. And we may have a chance to ask one of our brothers and sisters, ET, a question too. So I'm not guaranteeing they'll come in live. You'll hear them. You may hear them on the re-recording like we did the last one. But if you want to be a part of it, and one of these days it will happen. Bases are loaded. We're up to bat, you guys. And we're going to home run this all the way in to the golden age, along with everybody else that's doing this actively, and things to awaken people actively to the whole world. So with that, I want to give this over to Dale and Sunny. If Dale's not here, I can say the Law of One, and then Sunny will bring in her guest, Merrell. We're glad to have him. So Dale, are you here? Just star 6. Takes a little minute. Mm-hmm. Let me check, too. Let's see. Dale, okay, well, Dale, you're on the moderator line. Star 6, please, if you're here. Still can't hear you. Might be double muted on your phone. Okay, well, you want me just to say the Law of One and we can get started?
Yes,
Sunny?
Go ahead, Liz.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, we're going to pray the Law of One, the Trumper Law. Trumps all laws, you guys. We're going to pray for this call tonight for Merrell and his family, and for all of the music people, all that have music in their heart, that bring it out from their heart, that want to bring it out from their heart, all of Hollywood and the music industry all around the world, everybody all around the world, music. And by the way, music is in the astrology these few weeks here. So perfect call, Sunny, perfect. So I just call in the divine flame of love, living love, and call in collective consciousness now to be with us. We call in all our galactic brothers and sisters that we galactalize on the Diamonds Network, and all those that listen from every time and space here on Earth and in this universe and galaxy. Thank you for coming. We call in the 360 angels that are assigned around this 360 degrees around the Earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. We call in all of our higher selves. I call in all the higher selves of all people that have music on their heart, in their heart, and want it to go through their heart to the world. I call in their higher selves, their mental, spiritual, emotional bodies. We welcome you. We thank you all for coming. Thank you, thank you. Because we are all one. And when one is harmed or compromised in music, all are harmed or compromised in music. When one is helped in music, all are helped in music. So therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all that there is, I ask that only the highest good of all concerned in the music industry on earth and the people and everything known and unknown and understood and not understood, I ask for only the highest good of all concerned to happen to bring this out in this awakening. And I ask for only the highest good of all concerned to happen in every art and creative department in us and through us and to the world and beyond. And so it is, and so be it. And thank you that this is done. And with that, namaste. I honor the power in all of you, and you honor the power in me, however that goes. Namaste. Over to you, Sunny, and your awesome guest. I can't wait. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that really enthusiastic introduction and love one. That was beautiful. I'm going to say that I lived on Maui in the late 70s and the 80s, and I knew of this man's music, Merrell, who was playing music at the time with his partner, Mary, who was on the violin, and it was just so enticing. it was so appropriate for the times, and it's still appropriate. And I loved his music, but I didn't get to know him then. And later on, living here 2.5 years ago, I heard him on Coast to Coast, the overnight radio program, and I went, hey, wow, I know this guy. I knew this guy. And I called him. I mean, I didn't call him, but I sent him an email, and he responded, and we've just had this wonderful email communication ever since. So I am very, very pleased to introduce Merrell Fankhauser. And Merrell, would you start by giving a brief history of your music career up until Maui? Appreciate it.
Yes, Sunny and Elizabeth, thank you so much for having me on your show tonight. And yes, I started out when I was a young teenager in a surf band on the central coast of California called the Impacts. And we were the house band at a ballroom called the Rose Garden Ballroom that was in Pismo Beach. And we were discovered by Delphi Records, and they put out our Wipeout album, which was an instrumental surf album, and ended up being a million seller. And I was going to be an aeronautical engineer, but I got so into the music and the music business, and then later ended up moving to Los Angeles, and I had several other groups after the Impacts, Merrell and the Exiles, and then a band that we put out sort of a psychedelic folk album called Fapper Dockley, then HMS Bounty, and we had a hit called Things on Uni Records in 1968, and then in 1969 I formed the band Moo. And you know the story, Sonny, of how I got the name Moo. I was living in Woodland Hills, and we were thinking of a name for our new band, and I was cleaning up in the log bin around the fireplace, and I found a 1932 edition of The Lost Continent of Moo by Colonel James Churchward. And that sparked everybody in the band's interest, and we found out that Hawaii was the mountain peaks, supposedly, of the lost continent of Moo. And we called our new band Moo, and we had an album out on United Artist Records, and then another album on Era Records. And one day in 1973, we decided to pack it all up and move to Maui. So were you on Maui yet in 73?
No, I wasn't. I didn't move to Maui until 76.
Okay. Yeah. So then the band Moo stayed together on Maui and did several, real monumental concerts, because at that point, other than Jimi Hendrix playing there really wasn't much music going on, and we were one of the first big concerts in Lahaina, and we ended up recording an album in our house in Haiku, because Quicksilver Messenger Services engineer Barry Mayo was living on the island, and he had some equipment and installed it in our house, and we did an album. And then around the middle of 74, two of the other members of the band decided to quit, and that was when I met Mary Lee, the violinist, and we did that album that you know so well, the 1976 Maui album, that's still selling, still out there on CD, and it's been pressed up on so many labels now, and a label in Spain even re-released it just a few months ago on a vinyl LP. And I lived on Maui for 15 years, flew back and forth to California, and played with a lot of studio musicians and bands, and went on tour, and to date I have over 400 songs published and over 40 albums. I've almost kind of lost track, and I've played with everybody from the Beach Boys, Jan and Dean, Willie Nelson, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, the guys from Spirit, and so many I can't even remember them. And I'm still recording today, and I do a TV show called Tiki Lounge that's aired up and down the coast here and in Hawaii, and you can see select shows on the internet. All you do is just type in Merrell Fankhauser's Tiki Lounge, and a list will come up. And in fact, you can see me and Willie Nelson and the band on Maui playing Wipeout at the MAC Center in front of 10,000 people. So it's been a lot of music, and when I look at it now, I sometimes feel like somebody else did it. It's such a volume of work.
Truly amazing. What a career you've had and continue to have.
Yeah. So I have one of those first songs from the 1976 Maui album queued up, called On Our Way to Hana.
Merrell, can I ask one question before you do that?
Yes.
Okay, if you don't mind, Sonny.
No.
I was on your website, and I listened to one of the songs. You had long blonde hair and a guitar singing a song on top of a mountain. What was the name of that song?
That was Calling from a Star. And
Calling from the Stars, and that's kind of galactic.
Calling from a Star, yes.
It's like a galactic song, so it's like, wow, because, we have galactic talk here on the Diamonds Network, a lot of that. Yeah,
I could go into that song if you would rather, and I can tell a quick story about that. I was always interested in UFOs, Elizabeth, even when I was a child. My dad was a pilot. He taught me to fly, and we often talked about UFOs, and I looked all of my life and never saw one until 1974. I was at the top of Haleakala Crater with my band, and we were up there for the sunset, and the sun went down, and there was a group of tourists there. All of a sudden, this bluish, greenish, pulsating light came in and hovered over the crater, and real quick, two more smaller lights came out of it, and they started shining a light from one to the next, and it formed a tetrahedron, an inverted pyramid. And everybody was just spellbound. We were sitting there looking at that, just couldn't figure out what in the world it was.
Wow. And what were your emotions? Can you remember then? What were your emotions? Not just, like wow emotions, but did you feel any emotions or, feel vibrations from that light?
Oh, yeah. I felt an energy that I felt like I was absorbing. And we watched it. It was quite long, 3 or 4 minutes, and then all of a sudden they all came back together and shot straight up in the air and disappeared just as fast as it appeared. And I remember there was a guy who was in the Navy in the Second World War, and he said he had never, ever seen anything like that. Well, we drove back down the crater to our house in Haiku, and the next morning I got up and the song just popped out. It was almost like it was channeled.
It was downloaded to you then, yes.
And it only took me 15 minutes to complete the whole thing, and I showed it to the band. And then we recorded one version of it, a slower version, but then I later on went to Hollywood with the demo I had, and I recorded it with Gary Malabar, Steve Miller's drummer, and a guitar player that had played with Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, and a great bass player who'd played on tons of hit records, and Peter Noon from Herman's Hermits came in and sang background vocal with me. And the song was actually what they called back then a turntable hit. It got on a lot of radio stations, and the interesting thing is when the Columbia space shuttle blew up, a lot of stations had it. It was on a 45 vinyl record, and they pulled it out and played it as a dedication to the Columbia astronauts.
Wow, I hadn't heard that. That's great.
I hope to hear that. I hope to hear that song tonight. If hopefully you got it queued up.
Well, I can cue it up and play it right now.
Yeah,
I wanted to say that, you know, on the Diamonds Network, and not just on the Diamonds Network, but my heart, you know, discovered the Diamonds Network, and one of my dreams and visions in there that I just like got downloaded, like you described, that you got downloaded that song, was to galactalize, which with our brothers and sisters. But I know, if you think about it, meeting our brothers and sisters and starting a relationship now to meet them, because it's a process with baby steps, is one of the biggest pillars in this golden age, going back into this golden age, because it's one of the biggest programmings and biggest oppressions that we've gotten stomped underneath us, you know, by the and Bev is really going to love this story you just told. She's probably smiling now. For 12 years she's been goes outside and talks to her ET ships that she sees in the sky, and I'm sure you're encouraged now, Bev, too. She's a long-time listener to Diamonds Network and benefactor, so thank you for that. And then I just want to make sure you're playing from a CD player.
Yeah.
Let's just do like a 30-second test to make sure it sounds
Sonny
okay.
and I tested this the other day, and it came out pretty good. I think I'll play it, and then you can comment if it needs to come up or down, but I think I got the level adjusted pretty good.
The only thing I was going to say is you have to take it off speakerphone, no speakerphone, and then you got to put your phone to the speaker like it's talking on the speaker.
I've done this on about 4 different radio shows.
Okay, great.
He knows how to do it.
Yeah.
All righty.
I'm a recording engineer here.
We tested it.
Okay, great.
It'll just take a second.
Okay. How did that sound to you, Elizabeth? Did it sound clear? Yeah.
How was that?
It was pretty good. I even thought that it could have been a slight tad louder.
Oh, even louder.
I don't know.
That's great. Thank you for playing that.
Yes, it was good, though. It was fine.
How did it sound on your end, Elizabeth?
Well, with the swooshes, some noises sound swooshy, but it'll sound great on the YouTube.
Yeah.
And so far so good. Great. Keep going, guys. Interview. I want to hear more, Sonny.
Okay. Yes. Right. Well, I'm pleased that you brought up the UFO thing because I was going to do that, and it's just appropriate that you play this song now. And the other song who's going to play On the Road to Hana, that also has a UFO theme. So if there's any more introduction you'd like to make.
Well,
since
I can see the time is ticking away, since Elizabeth really likes this space theme, I'm so interested, Sonny, into what she will say and feel and think about the signals from Malibu. And
yes. You want to
that
do that
is my latest recording, Elizabeth, and the story behind that is really something. This man who was a World War II radio operator, and he was an expert, and his job was to pinpoint where the Japanese were broadcasting from in the Second World War on these islands and atolls. Well, he lives in the mountains of Malibu on the coast of California. And one night he was talking to somebody in Australia on his ham radio, and when he got finished, he dialed off the frequency a little bit, and he started picking up these very strange radio signals. And he knew all of the military codes and how they disguised broadcasts, and he said he'd never heard anything like that before. So the signals ended up getting sent to me, and when I played them in my studio, I immediately heard a song in my head that, for lack of a description, because I was so into instrumental surf music when I was young, I heard this almost like James Bond kind of mysterious instrumental song. And so I got the band in here to the studio real quick, and I played them the signals, and they just went, wow. In 3 hours, we had this whole song done, and I put these strange radio signals in the song. And I played it for the label I'm on in England, and they decided they wanted to release it right away. Now, here's the interesting thing. The radio guy pinpointed out in the ocean about 3 miles was where these signals were coming from. And he couldn't figure it out because there's nothing out there. But what he didn't know, there's an underwater anomaly that's about 650 feet tall with pillars going around it and a dome-shaped roof. And surfers and other people going way back into the 50s had seen lights coming in and out of the ocean in that area.
Wow.
So now they feel that it is an underwater UFO base. And the gentleman that got these radio signals didn't even know that existed. And when somebody told him that, it blew his mind that, what? You mean there's something that looks like a building out there? Well, the Chumash Indians, who were the indigenous tribe for thousands of years up and down the California coast, say that they knew about that building forever. And they call it a building. And they said that when the ocean level was lower than it is now, they used to go out on the top of it and fish off of it. And so I knew that up in the mountains in there was some pillars or something that had petroglyphs on them, because I'd heard people talk about that, and I found out on a Google map that they were right in line with this anomaly that's under the water. And you can see this anomaly. All you got to do is Google it, underwater Malibu anomaly, and you can see it. There's different photos of different angles, and we put it on the cover of my latest CD, Signals from Malibu. And
what?
What?
I can say, well, Merle, you can Google, but we'll Google Christopher Stephen Jacobs on Monday, and we'll talk to those ET brothers and sisters if they'll talk to us underneath the water.
Yeah.
We're going to bring that in on Monday's show. I have
Great.
2 comments thus far. Okay, first, there's 2 witnesses now just from you that you got downloaded a song in your department, music, took you 3 hours to make that one show and 15 minutes to write that one song. That's 2 examples just with you, what I call wrapped in supreme happiness with maximum efficiency, minimum effort. That's what we're going into. It's our action. And then the other comment I wanted to make is in the 1950s, there are a lot of people around the world that did the shortwave radio, right?
Right.
And they hired a man in the government to do a test with all these people around the world, and he did some kind of test where he found out that, that they were all, he asked them the same questions, everybody, these ham radio things, something to do with the ETs and the signals, and they all answered them right because they were all in contact with ETs with doing these ham radio things, not by voice, but by, the ding, 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 ding. So that was done, and so there's so many things, if they were contacting people on ham radios back then in the 50s, they can surely come on the phone and talk with their voice. And there's other incidents by accident that happened, and it's really good. I can't wait to hear that song. This is the last song, or this is the most recent one you wrote then, right?
Oh, yeah, this is a brand new album out there. It's Signals from Malibu. You can go to my website, merrellfankhauser.com, and get it, or you can go directly to the record company, gonzomultimedia.com. They're in England. It's a little faster if you get it from me. And also my book, Calling from a Star, the Merrell Fankhauser story, is out now on Amazon, and I talk about all of these things and how they were created. But the one interesting thing I wanted to say, Elizabeth, there's a second song that I wrote from these signals, because after I did the first song, I found out, hey, there's 4 more signals sets, 4 more minutes of signals that I didn't use. So I wrote like a piano, almost classical song. And near the end, these signals sound like a lady's voice yodeling, a high-pitched kind of sound. And I've shut down 4 radio stations now, one in England. When it got to that point, their mixing boards turned off. But I've done, last year, I must have done 75 radio shows. All of the stations, well, this year, I'm meaning, all of the stations that had analog mixing boards, on-air stations, they had no problem. It was the stations that had the latest, newest digital equipment, and there's something in that signal
yes,
that turns it off. And right now, I have the head engineer at George Lucas's Skywalker Ranch in Marin, where they made Star Wars, examining these signals to try to come up with an answer for me. Why did it do that? So I'm learning stuff as I go along, and as I've told Sonny before also, in the 70s, I met John Lennon at my friend Harry Nilsson's house, a songwriter. And John and I were talking about songwriting, and he said to me, "Isn't it strange where songs come from?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I didn't write any of those songs in the Beatles." He said they were all sent to me. It was automatic writing. And
Absolutely.
I remember I got goosebumps up my back when he said that, and I went, exactly. My best songs come in 15 minutes, and I don't even know where they come from. Sometimes I hear the whole thing finished in my head, and I have to go figure it out on the guitar and learn to play it.
Well,
So something's going on.
Oh, yes. You're painting a pattern for, this, and the astrology is music. The music angels are in astrology right now, and music is very important, and you're somehow your Ichi brothers and sisters are working with you. Here's another example. Cynthia, that's on our show, there's angels. She wrote a book, Divine Sky. It's like a 500-page book, but they gave her pieces of music, and she's recorded them. They're on her site, Cynthia Schlosser. It's on the link on the blog, but they told her, the angels told her, that this music will help increase, as you listen to it, will help increase your vibrations, increase your consciousness.
Right.
But another thing in the Christian realm, I mean, you play a musical instrument. I saw it live at a conference before. A young man came down in the audience. This is at a Christian religion show, right? And he sat by, he was guided by God or himself to go play this guitar right next to the lady. And this lady miraculously got healed just by him in the spirit, just playing that guitar of how he, downloaded it at the moment. Awesome. Yes, this is great.
Absolutely. Music is a real healer.
Yeah, there's several books out, and we studied them with the Rosicrucians and when I was in the band Moo about healing tones. And certain keys are healing, and you go to whatever level you need to go to by playing the particular song in that key and with the sympathetic melody. So, yes, that is all.
Oh, one more thing. Cynthia will kick my butt if I forget to add this. If she's on, maybe she can explain it on the Q&A session. But the angels told her for this music, to really help people, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, is when you make music, you either play at least 90 minutes of the white keys or 90 minutes of the black keys, just like for the piano, I'm saying for the piano. And don't mix them, because this is the wisdom they told her. And like on the guitar, I don't know what the white keys are on the guitar, the black keys are on the guitar. But don't mix them. And if you're going to play like 90 minutes of that, and that really will help us increase. So I just wanted to pass that on the audio. Don't mix white and black keys. Yeah.
That's interesting, because the second song that I told you I played to these radio signals, I sat down at the piano while the signals were coming through the headphone. I had no idea what key I was playing in or what I was playing. And when I got done, my violinist said, those signals are in E, and you're playing in E minor. And I had no idea. It's like it was just guiding my fingers. I almost feel like I should play that song first, since you brought that up.
You go by your heart what you want to play on this Diamonds Network, because you go by the Spirit.
Okay.
I walk by the Spirit. The spontaneous remission is Cynthia's
thing. Spirit's been with us tonight. I can tell that.
I'll play that one first. The message.
Let me just ask really quick to clarify for those music people. When I say the white keys and the black keys, like on the piano, but you can transfer it to any instrument. What is the white keys?
Well, you're just talking about sharps and flats.
Okay, there we go. I just want to clarify that. Either play sharps or flats. Don't mix them. And for 90 minutes, or for a 90 minutes, whatever. Okay, just wanted to pass that off to the world, Merrell, and you.
Okay, let me play messages from the Dome, and I have to tell you, several female hosts of radio shows all over the country really identified with this, and one lady, Erin Dakins, it brought a tear to her eye. So let's see what happens here.
You won't get shut down by it.
That was Messages from the Dome.
That sounded really good to me. Came across
Beautiful.
well.
We're all still here.
Yes, we are.
We didn't shut anything off or get beamed up.
The part in the middle sounded like a spaceship.
Well, those are the sounds that were recorded, and I just put the piano to it, and then my violinist Sal Garza played the violin parts. I did a 12-string and a bass, and my drummer Art Dougal, and the rest of it was the mysterious Malibu radio signals that nobody yet has been able to figure out what they actually are.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear what Chris has to say about it. I did email him about it, and he said a few things to me, but I think that should be real interesting.
Uh-huh.
He did confirm that it was a portal.
Yeah, well, a lot of people have said that, and they feel that there's several of those up and down the California coast and over down past Los Angeles. Years and years ago, they took a submarine under the shelf of California, and they could tell by the radio signals. They went inland through one of those portals, if you will, all the way underneath San Bernardino. Yeah.
That rings a bell because of recent events, but I'm sure there's not really a connection there. But no, but it's interesting to know how far in they go.
Yeah. And of course, we have like the bottomless pit supposedly in Haleakala Crater, and it's all hooked to volcanic lava tubes. So there can be a lot of things under there yet that we really don't know about. And I don't know if I told you, Sonny, the interesting thing was when I was a teenager, a group of us went down to Malibu from here, where I'm at, up near Pismo Beach, and we went down there and went surfing, and we were getting out of the water, and the sun was going down, and there were some local surfers from Malibu there, and they were starting a bonfire, and they said, "Oh, you guys ought to stick around and watch the lights fly in and out of the ocean." And we went, "What?" And my friend that was with me, Larry, he kind of laughed, and we were driving back, and he said, "Oh, they're just watching pelicans fishing, because that's what they do. They dive in the ocean, get a fish, and if it's near sunset, the way the light would reflect off the wings, it could look like a light." But too many other people have said, no, what I've seen down there wasn't pelicans. So one of my next things I want to do is go down there with a infrared night vision camera and just camp out there for the night and point the camera out in the ocean and see if we can.
I'm going with you.
I'd like to say I'm going too.
and there's a video on YouTube of Signals from Malibu, the song, and also from the song you just heard, Messages from the Dome. And I was sent some pictures from people of supposed UFOs that were seen in that area, and we put those in the video. And you can see those at YouTube. Just type in Merrell Fankhauser Signals from Malibu, and it'll come up.
Hey, can you spell your last name so people can find that, please?
Yes. My first name is Merrell, Merrell. Last name is Fankhauser, Fankhausser. And you can also see my website that you've been to, Elizabeth, merrellfankhauser.com. And people can email me from there.
That's what I did, and really, it's been a really good journey from afar. And this is one of the highlights, the pinnacles. Not that it's going to go down from here, but now it's leading to these kinds of things, and I've no doubt they will continue. The energies we're in right now, the accelerations that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Merle, if you'd like, I would like to extend an invitation to you for Monday night show when Chris comes on. I just want you to give a little background of what's under the water, and then we could maybe look into that and find out and talk to some beings that are down there. What do you think?
Okay, that would be at the same time. I would be on the same time.
Same time. We have news first, and then Cynthia. So about an hour into the show, then we'll bring Chris on and you on. How's that?
So what time would that be for me here in California?
It starts at the same time you called in tonight.
Oh,
and then
okay.
If you wanted to wait till you came on, it'd probably be an hour later, like 6:30 or so. But you might.
But you can come for the.
Yeah.
You can come for the whole show if you like.
Certainly, yeah.
Okay. I don't have my calendar in front, but I don't think I have anything Monday night. Sounds like it'll work.
Wow, that's incredible. That's wonderful.
So you made the song, the very first song you mentioned when you came on. What was that again? It's a famous song.
Calling from a Star. Oh, Wipeout. You're talking.
Wipeout.
When I was 17 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, people don't know that Merrell wrote that song. They think that the Safaris wrote it.
Well, they recorded it a year later.
They recorded it, yeah.
Their producer was in the studio when we recorded it. We were just young guys, didn't know anything about copyrights or contracts or anything, and these producers heard us up here on the Central Coast, took us in the studio in L.A., and before we knew it, within a month and a half, the album was out. And our parents said, well, did you boys sign anything? Well, we were all underage. It wouldn't have been any good anyway, and we just thought, the money was going to come in, and then after, a year and a half, we tried to get an attorney to do something, but the producers who got the money from the record company had all vanished, and there was they did this to several young bands, and we ended up calling them song sharks, and now after years I could be a music attorney. I can read a contract and tell if there's something wrong with it right away. In fact, I've done that for a lot of young bands, but I wish
they've done that for many years, from many people now. But now they can't, because we prayed the law of one for the highest good of all concerned for all music people, including you. So glory, right?
Yeah. I wish I knew back then what I know now.
Well, we all get wiser.
But I'm very happy, and I thank all of the spirits of light every day. I have, my own recording studio I've had for years. I've got a TV set with a stage in the backyard that I've had all kinds of famous people play on, and the TV show has been on Tiki Lounge for 14 years now, and I feel very blessed to still be playing music and doing what I love. Well,
Merrell, we're gonna do Diamonds Network, boots on the ground, and Diamonds Network. We would love to join up with you and come to your place and do a joint Tiki Hut and Diamonds Network show. Tiki Lounge and Diamonds Network show. Yes.
Oh, that would be fun to do that and talk about all of this and do a whole ET music-oriented show.
Oh, that's quite an idea. Sounds good.
Absolutely, and I have a feeling the ETs will be there on your show too, and they'll be seen like anybody else, another person.
Well, they're in my backyard, Elizabeth. You can go on the internet and type in Merrell Fankhauser's Alien Talk, and you'll see it.
That's a cute song. I posted that for Chris, and he liked it. The Alien Talk song.
Yeah.
Yeah, he liked that. Oh wow. I was just wanting to encourage people that would like to hear the music from the show that was. Oh gosh, now I'm blanking out here, but the one that Jimi Hendrix was in,
Rainbow Bridge.
Rainbow Bridge Revisited. Yes, there's some wonderful surf music by Merrell on that album, and I listen to it quite often, and it lifts me.
You can see some of that on YouTube also. What we did, we went back to Maui and interviewed a lot of the people that were in the Rainbow Bridge movie with Jimi Hendrix. And it was interesting talking to them and seeing what they had to say about hanging out with Hendrix. Mm-hmm. So it's got a lot of surfing, a lot of Maui footage, great interviews, and some new surf music that I wrote just for the soundtrack. And that's also available from my website or from Gonzo Multimedia, Rainbow Bridge Revisited.
Yeah, that's a really fun and informative film to see, and the music is...
And we didn't
really
touch
good.
on a lot of the ruins that I found that are pre-Hawaiian in Hawaii on Maui, but all of those, the pictures, are in my book, Calling from a Star, the Merrell Fankhauser story. There's a pyramid I found and also some ancient pillars that are in the jungle.
Yeah, wow, I know. I've seen some of those pictures in the pyramid in Haleakala.
Yeah.
I saw one that looked a lot like that way back in the 70s, and I wondered if it was the same one.
It didn't seem to be, though, because the one that I found was more smooth-sided.
Mm-hmm. Well, to have two of them in the Haleakala, that would be pretty interesting.
That's something.
way back.
You guys want to see if there's any questions or comments now?
Yes. Anybody on the line here, anybody that's listening would like to...
Okay, the other side's open. Just *6 to come in, you guys. Any questions, comments, how you liked it so far?
I have a question.
All right.
Sure. Who's it?
And I've been chomping at the bit. I have so many questions.
Oh, well, shoot away. Who is this, by the way?
This is Pat.
Oh, Pat, I love you.
Well, I used to live out that way and hung out in Malibu a lot. And one thing I wanted to ask if Merrell knew the Beach Boys, Carl Wilson. Did you know?
Yeah, I knew all of the Beach Boys. Mike Love has been on my TV show several times. And Jan and Dean were good friends of mine. In fact, they were pre-Beach Boys and did the same kind of music. And Dean and I did a concert together here locally, a couple of years ago.
Wow. Well, I also knew Carl when Rita, his wife, left him. I was like his transitional girlfriend for a while.
Oh.
Paul who?
Carl.
Carl. Oh yeah, Carl. Yeah. I met his wife.
Yeah, Rita.
Yeah.
Dark hair, real pretty, very nice lady.
Yeah.
But I don't want to like talk out of turn and stuff, but I mean, he had his issues, but I loved him. He was such a sweet guy. But knowing their personal history and the movies that they've made about them, they didn't begin to cover the nightmare that was their father.
Yeah.
You know?
See, I had a drummer who was in another band called the Sun Rays. Do you remember them?
Vaguely.
Yes, they had a hit called Andrea and I Live for the Sun.
Oh, I think I heard the latter.
I remember that one.
And this drummer said how, the Wilsons' father, Murray, was just horrific, beyond belief, and how he got mad at the Beach Boys, and that's why he started producing the Sun Rays, because he wanted a band to knock the Beach Boys off the charts. And
I think their father was a psychopath. I really do. And the effect that it had on Carl and the other boys too was just
Brian, Murray punched Brian in the ear, and that's why he's deaf in one ear.
Yeah, from your own father. Can you imagine?
Yeah, and they were all so creative. The songwriter. I thought Carl had the best voice in the band.
And he was so shy. Most people didn't realize, how shy he was.
Yeah.
And he was, I think I didn't make a good girlfriend for him because I'm kind of a pretty direct person. Mm-hmm. And I kind of tell it like it is. But on the other hand, I think he appreciated my honesty. And plus my stupidity. I knew him for like almost 2 weeks before I realized he was a famous person.
Oh.
Right.
So I didn't even have a clue. And I was going to spend Christmas one year with him. He lived in Estes Park outside of Boulder.
Right.
He was at that time trying to get away from the Beach Boys because he had problems with Dennis's relationship with Charlie Manson and with Dennis's, drugging problems and everything.
Yeah.
And of course Brian's mental health issues. So that whole family, it was really, really sad. But he was a wonderful, beautiful man, and he died. I believe it was in 1998 of brain cancer, which was something else we had in common because that 3 years before I had almost died from brain cancer.
Oh gosh.
But I always wished him well, and I found him, very creative, but very trapped in the creepy system that is the music business.
Oh yeah. And
I would love to visit with you, offline sometime and talk. My son's actually a musician, and he's going to be so jealous that I got to speak to you. And I know he's got ways. I had experience about 8 years ago of meeting somebody who's lived and grew up on one of the Catalina Islands.
Oh, wow.
Within like 2 miles of the Malibu anomaly.
Really?
And here's the thing. This guy was not human. This guy I met was a full-on telepath. I mean, he could literally, anything anybody said, he not only could read their minds, he could look at somebody and know everything about them in their whole life. And he demonstrated that to me over and over again. And I asked him, because at that time I was trying to get a big pile of money out of the government because the government owed me a bunch of money, and they weren't paying. And he said something really cryptic to me. He said, they don't usually come to your rescue until the very last second, which I went, oh, what? And so then I said, hey, you're either, connected with the company, if you know what I mean, or you are not from this world. And he just, he gave me a nod that indicated not from this world. So I said, well, where are you from? And he pointed down.
Oh, yeah. And Pat, what you just described, oh, sorry, I just wanted to say what you just described, that man, how he can know about everybody and everything about their lives. That's where we're going to. That's why we're going in.
Exactly. Finish, Elizabeth, because it's right on with what you guys are thinking and talking about. It turned out I asked him where he was from, and he said that his family he came from an island off the coast of California near Malibu, and to look at him, what I finally figured out with him is he was from Agartha, Inner Earth. And he's one of the, I think they call him Andromedans. He has the look of, it's kind of like not Spanish, but not Mayan Indian either, but kind of something in between, short, dark hair, kind of stocky, but like full-on total telepath. And he found me at a very critical time in my life that I can't go into now, but just apropos, what I heard about the Malibu anomaly from people that I know there, and what I found out about I was able to validate what he told me about his family's island, and here's the thing. The island exists. It does bear his family's name, and I called the Catalina Island Chamber of Commerce, and they put me through to the Office of Naval Intelligence. And they admitted to me that that island is a no-fly zone, no boats and no airplanes are allowed to fly over it, and it is completely controlled by the Naval Intelligence Service. So the government knows all about the Malibu anomaly, and they know that it's a landing port, and it's an under the water UFO port. And what I've heard subsequently is that you can go into that base there, and they have the tunnel system goes all the way to Nevada. Now,
Pat, I would love you to come on Monday's show too, and we'll bring up your friend you met, and we'll see if we can bring him in and talk to him through Chris. Okay?
But no, because people's lives are at stake. So I'm not giving any more than what I said tonight. And on the Monday call, there's more people. So that more, because I have to be kind of like protective of this person, because I've kind of already said enough to where little pictures, big ears, could figure something out from what I've said.
Well, we would have prayed the law one over it, and we won't. They won't. We don't. Yeah, Chris has brought many people in, and they don't give their identity. Yeah, so it's up to you. Anyway, go ahead, you guys.
But Merrell, you're spot on, and your music. I have to tell you, when I heard the last one you played, it sounded an amazing half rock and roll, and half kind of like Japanese court music.
That's interesting.
It had those two kind of like mixed together. And the vision that I had when I was hearing it of either a Japanese or a Chinese woman in a kimono, dancing.
That's my wife.
Oh, that's amazing. But that's what I got from that. So I wanted to share that with you.
Wow, I'll have to tell her that.
Yeah, and that's deep when you get into the dragon family, because Chinese and Japanese music kind of goes back to the ancient dragon families. Your wife probably knows all about them.
Oh yeah.
So thank you very, very much. Sorry I've taken up so much time. I just got so excited.
Well, that was very interesting. And there's another fellow that's communicated with me recently who was credited as the first person finding that anomaly some years ago. And he grew up in Malibu and was a surfer. And
I know who you're talking about, and I can't think of his name either.
Robert Stanley.
Oh, yeah, he's the one that first heard the sounds.
And he found all of these ruins and sculptures and things in the mountains there, and we're going to be doing some radio shows together.
Awesome. I think that's just awesome. There's more than one way to bring out the truth, and music is just an amazing way to do it. So
it sure is.
Well, I've sure been feeling this for quite some time now, the role of music, and since Merle and I have been communicating through email, I've been listening to much more of this music than I even knew existed. It's been inspiring me and leading me in the direction I knew there's some special role this is all going to take. This is all leading up to something.
Right.
And we are now in those times of acceleration, and I can really feel that this is happening now, and what I envisioned and felt is going to come about. So
thank you, Pat, for those great questions. Great.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that has a question about music or anything? I'm sure Merle can answer it, or Galactics or whatever. And
can I ask a very short one? I was just going to ask Merrell, did you know the boys in the group Chicago Transit Authority?
I don't really know them, but I actually opened up for them in the late 60s once, but I never really had a chance to even talk to them.
I had a brief relationship with their trumpeter.
Oh, my gosh. Boy, you get around.
Yeah.
I have to say I did back in the day, but not anymore.
Yeah.
But he had blonde curly hair, and he went from they were Chicago Transit Authority.
Yeah, CTA is what they were when I opened up for him with my band.
Yeah,
HMS
that was early
Bounty.
on with Chicago, and then he was on the Tonight Show, Doc Severinsen's band, and played trumpet, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was trumpet. But he was into all kinds of alternative stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so thank you very much. I'm going to let somebody else talk, but it was fun. Thank you very much. Good night.
Okay, nice talking to you. I thought we were going off at 6:30.
Well, it just seems to have led. We try to, but this is the.
It's okay. Are you okay, Merrell?
Yeah, we were just planning on having dinner, and Jane has dinner ready. But if there's another question, we can do one more. I can stick around for one.
This is Candy, and Merrell, I really enjoyed your remarks, and I do the Candy Jar segment for the Diamond shows on Monday nights, and we'll be looking forward to having you there. And I thought that there was another song you were going to play for us with Signals.
The Signals from Malibu.
Right.
We just decided to do the other song instead, it sounds like.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe you can do that one Monday night.
Yeah,
okay.
There you go.
Well, enjoy your dinner with your lovely wife, and thank you for sharing tonight.
Okay, thank you so much for having me on.
Before you hang up, there you go, Bev. Okay, go ahead.
What?
I just a point of fact, talking about the Black Keys, Amazing Grace was written in just Black Keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
Merrell, don't go away yet, Bev. Merrell, this is Bev. She's been hearing music in her ears that whoever plays songs for her, different songs every day, right, Bev?
Oh, I have about 65 songs that play in my head.
Wow, all at once? That must be confusing.
No, it's not all at once.
If I had songs coming to me several all at once, that would be difficult.
You have to sort it out.
It's just because I'm going deaf in one ear. The doctor said that happens, so.
That's what the doctors say. We think she's her clear audio is on. Happy Birthday, America the Beautiful, and older songs, 50s, 70s songs, right, Bev?
Oh, yeah, and the Wedding March, and
what
3
about You
o'clock
Are
in the
My
morning.
Sunshine? Do you like You Are My Sunshine?
That one, too.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Well, we've got a few more people here that are listening, and that's great. And I know that Merrell needs to go, but it's been a real pleasure. If there's anybody else that absolutely would like to say something, I'd like to.
If you have a question, don't feel bad to come in. Merrell, hold on. Anybody, please don't feel guilty because Merrell's going to dinner. Anybody have a question that's burning in their heart, please come and ask it. Just take that leap of faith. *6. I don't want to leave anybody out. But and if Dale's here, Dale's usually on this show. Dale, do you have a question or any comment too? *6 on. Or talk to Merrell.
Dale, are you here? It's the first show that Dale hasn't showed up for, if he's not here.
Well, there's 4 moderators on, so I know Candy's on, you and Merrell with me. That's us. 4. Okay. That's 4. Okay, take it away, you guys. Thank you, Merrell. See you Monday, maybe. Hopefully.
Okay.
Well, thanks so much for being on the show, Merrell. It's been
all right,
just wonderful.
Great. Best alohas to all of you.
Yes, much aloha.
Okay.
All around.
Hey, Merrell, what are you having? Hawaiian dinner? Are you having Hawaiian dinner? What kind of food?
No, I don't know. I'll have to go into the kitchen and see what my wonderful Jane has prepared.
Nice, thanks.
Okay.
Well,
okay. Sonny, we can talk a little bit after Merrell hangs up.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Merrell, and we'll be in touch as always.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Have a good supper. And I know Candy's on. Candy, Sonny, any more comments, you guys? What to just bring anything out that you want? Don't be shy, you guys.
Well, I'll just say that in spite of being sick today, it went pretty well. I just
on Voices from the Alternative World, I can see that you can bring people in that are doing the arts, like painting. Mm-hmm. There's music, whatever else is the arts. There's poetry, writing. Anybody you find in the arts department would be great too.
Yes, well, that's what this opened up for me in a way, that having Merrell on, and that all the arts, are very inspiring right now. And oh gosh, if only this person that we both know on Maui, but he's really a hermit. I don't even know how to get a hold of him, but his name is Richard Fields, and he just does incredible, beautiful artwork. Is a visionary and has a lot of Maui themes to it. But I don't know. I mean, he doesn't have an email address or anything. I don't know how to reach him, but But he
okay.
Yeah.
Anybody in the audience want to come in too? And anything? Any questions? Any comments? Yes. And maybe, Sonny, you could call Dale and see what happened. We could just make sure he's okay.
I sent this email, and I wondered if that discouraged him. Because
we're on. Listen, nothing's discouraged. He's fine. We're on recording. He's okay. Just call and see if he's okay. I'm a mother hen, and
I will.
I'm a nurse.
Him, yes.
All right. So just end the show. Whatever you want to say, Sonny.
Okay. Well, I just want to say that this has just been beautiful, and I want to thank everybody that participated, and of course, I thank Merrell, even though he's no longer on very much, and. So we will see where this leads. It looks like it's already leading somewhere. There's more in the mix involving Merrell and everything else we've talked about tonight. So thank you, everybody.
So, yes, good night, everybody, and keep shining like the diamonds you are, right?
Yes.
Oh, this is reference number 334 pound tonight, 334 pound on the recorded line. You can find that all on the Diamonds blog, right, Sonny?
Right.
Thanks, Sonny. This was a Sonny show. I liked it.
Very good, very good.
Good night, guys.
Good night.